guys, what's up, it's Zill here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a RPG Maker tutorial, specifically how to make a Danganronpa kind of game in RPG Maker. I've gotten what seems like hundreds of requests about this, and I get asked twice weekly about how do you make a Danganronpa game, blah blah blah, please tell me. Which is like, I get it. You want to make your games, and there's no tutorial out there how to make a specific Danganronpa style game because it's something that me, as well as others like Lanuge and Laser Bunny who helped me with this, and shout out to Laser Bunny, she's awesome. Anyway, it's something that we've just kind of had to make our own, and I just, at this point is like, why let other people suffer, kind of. I'll make a tutorial on it. Now, this might not be how other people do it. I don't know how Lanuge and Laser Bunny do this specifically, but this is just going to be part 1. I will make a part 2 with class trial, like non-stop debate stuff. But yeah, this is just a simple visual novel tutorial, some tips and tricks and stuff. This will not include MV 3D. This is just going to be 2D because this is a whole other thing. And it will be a lot harder for me to explain. I include the MV 3D stuff, so I'm just going to start with 2D, basic broom, basic stuff. As you can see, I'm in RPG Maker MV. Now, first of all, here's a couple little side notes. 1, this is not really a beginner tutorial for RPG Maker. I cannot explain everything that RPG Maker has to offer and does, so it's mainly for people who kind of already know how to use RPG Maker. It's not a very hard program to understand, and I'll try to link a tutorial down below if you want to get started on just basic RPG Maker stuff. It's not meant for Danganronpa style games at all. It's for RPGs, obviously. It's very simple to use. It can be very overwhelming at times, but it's also a very powerful program, especially with plugins / scripts, depending on which version of RPG Maker you're using. I'm focusing on MV, but most of this will apply to either MV or VX Ace at least. I don't know if it applies to anything else because I haven't used anything else, but it should apply generally to any RPG Maker program. So here we go. We're just gonna get into it. If I have any other things I need to put disclaimers, I'll put it on the screen. So yes, this might be a long video. Alright, let's just get into it. I'm gonna shut up now. So first things first, RPG Maker MV. So you go to your database. You guys can see here, I'll show you quickly all this stuff that I have. So here I only have one actor. It's Sachiko, which, first of all, if you're watching this, I'd appreciate if you supported my Fangan because it would mean a lot to me. But yeah, classes is nothing, skills nothing, because these two things don't get used in the Danganronpa style game. Weapons, nothing. Armors, enemies, troops, all this stuff doesn't get used. States doesn't get used. Animations, this does get used. I'll show you that in a bit. Tile sets, obviously those get used, especially common events get used, and I gotta make sure I don't show any spoilers because that would suck. System is used a lot. Types, not really important. This is all this from classes to states. This is all for RPG Maker, for RPG stuff that you would make, and you don't need this really. Well, items I'm using, but there's a workaround between that. So terms. Again, if you know RPG Maker, you know all this stuff. So for system, I just have you put the starting position. This here is my mono machine test, which is what would probably be another video in itself. But for right now, I'm gonna have the starting position be right here because this is gonna be our test room. This was my test room actually. You guys can see this is all the Phantom's Calling stuff. There's more maps I haven't made yet, but sneak peek, there you go. These are going to be part of the maps. So title image, I am actually using a script for this title image, or a plugin. Sorry, I'm used to saying script. I'm using a plugin, which I will show you guys soon. Another thing about RPG Maker MV is that it can be These are all the plugins I use mainly for MV. So these are pretty much all the ones that are active. So Community Basic, that's not really important. The main thing, the Yanfly core engine, which Yanfly recently made all their plugins paid, I believe, but I don't know anything about that, and I'm sorry I can't help with that because I have no control over that. But basically, these are specific parameters that you can put. So with Yanflies, you can make the width HD, unlike in VX Ace, where it's locked at like 480p. So I'm using 1280 by 720. Anything really bigger than that kind of gets disoriented or disorienting. So yeah, you need the core engine to use any of the other Yanfly plugins. For the title screen, I use the MOG TitlePicture, which is the help is actually in Spanish. I believe this is Spanish. It might be Portuguese, I don't know. But you can look this up in English, I believe, or translate it. It will help you figure out. Basically, I just have the base image and then these command images which go in a different different folder, and that makes this title screen. You can configure it however you want. This is how I did it. Alright, so this is the basic room. This can be anything, obviously, like the gym looks like this. Like all this sort of stuff. Some of it looks kind of whack because you have to configure maps differently if you're using MV3D. But for this, it's just going to be 2D. So we'll get into kind of grit of it, I guess you could say. These are all the common events. So obviously the image here is going to be your sprite. I don't have a Sora with me right. Oh no, I do. Is this her new one? This isn't her new one. Alright, well, I'm going to use Kira instead because, you know, whatever. Show the sprite. All these sprites are I write Sprite so that they're all ordered, and then the name, and then whatever their expression is, as you can see. I don't have them all implemented right now, but I'll use that one for right now. The number doesn't really matter. It's basically just like the layer of what it is on. I usually use 5 or 6. I don't know why I had it on 4, but yeah. So these are all the characters I have. These are just basic like actor character images. These were actually made in VX Ace and then edited and then resized to fit MV, which I might end up remaking them again because they're kind of blurry, as you can probably tell, because MV's sprites are bigger. So what I did is I just used the character creator, if it'll load, and then, you know, made it, you know, whatever, like as close as possible to the character I could in the maker, and then I would edit them in Fire Alpaca, which is what I use to edit graphics. The priority is going to be below. It's always going to be below because for every event it's usually below characters because it means that you can hover over them, which is how the cursor, which is what the player is listed under if you look. This is my own personal one that I made. I believe Lanuge's is different. This is Lanuge's. This is different. Obviously, I didn't want to use that in the final, so I just ended up making my own. This is more closely replicated to V3. It's just like little cursor that you use in game. So yeah, that's supposed to replicate that. I also have another command, GALV diagonal movement. This allows you to move diagonally in the game, which you can actually use. You can actually click around with MV, but it's easier to use arrow keys. So the next thing is focusing on this. So the event select. The event is called select 2. This was Lanuge's. Again, I don't use it. I should probably just delete it, but that was what I was using as a reference. And then again, I was using this one. Is the animation for what the animation that happens when you select things in game. Again, this was referenced from V3, so as opposed to this one, which is just like an inward motion, this one was this one is like a spin. You're gonna have to make your own assets for this, but I can show you like frame by frame, kind of like this, then this, then this, then this. So yeah, that kind of thing. That doesn't come into play till later. There's also these extra ones I haven't made these yet, but there's like the little animations that come up. These haven't been perfected yet or resized, but these are like going to be used later on. Ellipses or ellipses is just the dot thing that I made it, and I'm gonna use more for like the disappoint thing and the excite, which is just an exclamation point and all that. So yes, so the first thing I do is okay, first of all I need to show you guys another plugin that I use, which is Click Trigger. I believe it's in Yanfly event Click Trigger. Basically it's just you put this in the note tags right here of the event, and when you click on it, it automatically interacts with the event. Unlike that wasn't a good example, but so if I go over here and I click, it does it immediately, as opposed to normally where it would just not do that. Hold on. As opposed to normally where you have to click and then wait till it goes there. So it just gets rid of a little bit of delay, and it makes things a little bit smoother. Again, most people might use the arrow keys anyway, but it's just there in case anyone wants to use the actual click. So, for this was another plugin I used, which is the, where is it? SDR Camera Core, or SRD Camera Core. I don't use this anymore because I'm using MV3D, which doesn't really, which has its own camera system. So SRD Camera Core basically allows you to use plugin and commands to zoom and focus on certain events. There's also a script for this in VXAce as well. So zooming is like this: zoom in, scale, duration. So basically, what you do is you grab the command. I did this wrong actually, so focus on that is just what event, which the event here is 1, and then for how long, and I'll just make this 10 frames, I believe, not 10 seconds. And then you go here, plugin command, not script, plugin command, zoom in, 1, 2, doesn't matter, and then 10, and then this automatically will zoom in on the event and then focus on Akira. And you'll see why that's important in a second. And that will zoom in and then focus on his cat. Another problem I had with this is that the picture kind of stays here, and I don't know why that happens. I genuinely don't. I don't know what that has to do with. Let me see if there's I believe there's a fix for that. Zoom pictures, here we go. I believe it's this. And I believe if you set it to false, then that won't happen. Let's see. Again, this is another issue I ran into. The reason why I didn't end up using the zoom. Oh yeah, see, there you go. But then it ends up zooming this, so you might have to scale your pictures down. So for this, I would just scale this to half the height. But if you want to avoid that, you can just get rid of the zoom. It's not really important. I ended up not using it anyway, so yeah. So if you want, you can do that. Again, doesn't really work that well, so unless you find a workaround, I would suggest not using it. The next thing I'll show is how I use the text box. It's a very simple, there's 2 components to this, which is the message sound effects, which basically you click and it proceeds like how you hear in the game, which is this sound effect, if it'll play. It won't play right now, but this sound effect. So yeah, that one, and then the other one is, let me find it, Message Background. They're both by GALV. So yeah, the other one is Message Background. Basically, it's all there is the tutorial. The graphics that I use for it is in System. I have the disclaimer here, and then I have this. Disclaimer is what I use for the splash image that I don't have on right now. It's just the regular splash screen, but I don't have it on right now because this gets annoying to have to wait through it every time. And I believe you can change like the amount of time it stays. So I use that, and then I use the message sound effects, and that's how I use it gets the text on here. For the names, I use Yanfly Message Core. There's a lot you can do with this. There's different, you can change the color of the text. I think that's already a thing you could have done. You can change the outline color of the text. You can make it the name window, which is just like in visual novels, which is a very useful command. And that's what I did for this. So as you can see, I have the name and then /n, which displays the name. Default, it would be /n and then name. And then that in quotes, because if you're used to programming, it would be in quotes. And then the text, as you can see, that changes the actual displayed name on here. Oh, Akira's still small because I took away the thing. But yeah, name, Akira, put you at full width. And the reason that I don't have to resize it automatically is because all the sprites are sized to be 1280 by 720, so they're sized to the screen already, so I don't have to resize them, which is a little bit annoying, but I would have to resize them regardless, so it makes my life easier. It's an extra step. You don't have to do that. You can resize the sprites in-game, but again, it just makes my life easier, so yes. Then, as for that, you say your name. Don't show my stuff. You can see how much of the hard drive I've used. Okay, text color key. I have this thing written in my file of the game that I just use, which if you ever see this in the game files, this is what it's just for my own personal thing. Each of these are just different names, basically, and the colors they associate with. So for a Sora, hers is like a cyan, so hers is 25. The way you figure out where the colors, what that's even referring to, is you see this. The window, this is the window I use for the game because I make it blank because I have its own, like, it has its own thing. This is the click to continue, little arrow. These are the colors. These are not the default colors. These are the ones that I replaced them with. So there's light blue, which is the inside for the thinking. When the, protagonist thinks, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. The dark blue, which is the outline, and then yellow and dark. These first ones are just like the color and then the outline color. Sora's 25, which is, I believe, down here. I believe that's 25. So as you count, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on so forth until 25. For Akira, he is, I've written them all down, so that's how I can remember. Akira's 10. So I wrote /C for color, and then Akira Seiko, which is his name, inside the already written name box, and then change it to something he says all the time, like, haha, you cute, or whatever. And then Sachiko responds, that's weird, whatever. Now if you have multiple people talking, you just grab a Sora's sprite. This isn't really who I want to be talking, but whatever. this one. So, you know, she's talking, she's like, and it'll automatically, since it's already number 5, it'll automatically replace Akira's sprite. And then Asora's like, and then, yeah. So as for, we don't want to erase the picture just yet. As for the parts where it's the inner dialogue, you want to put the background at transparent. Text, this is what I do for the text. So here's my color codes right here if you want to see. There's the think ones, think outline, important outline. This is yellow, red, and then tutorial is just the green one. Sachiko, and then all the characters. So think would be /C1, and then /OC, which is outline color, which is also part of the Yanfly plugin, is 2. So /C1 /OC2, transparent, window position, bottom. That's always how it is. And then blah blah. This is the inner thoughts of Sachiko. And then if we want to highlight something, like say we want to highlight Sachiko, it's a little bit confusing, but so 3, 4, right? So you do it /C for color, 3 /OC for outline color. This won't affect the like actual. So if you click preview, 2 and 4 still show up because it's not part of the actual program, it's part of the plugin. But if you see, it shows up, it'll show you these obviously won't show up in the actual dialogue. And then I just do out /C0 and then I believe I don't remember what the actual outline color is. I can't quite remember at this moment, but so then outline color, whatever the outline color is, I don't have it right now. It's probably 26. So then OC 26. This is just for the period right here. So this is sandwiched in between that, and then that will be highlighted, and you'll see here in a second. So actually, I forgot to mention, before this, I will show the show picture. This will be 99, and I'll have the picture of Think. That's not Think, which is just a little gray or /black semi-transparent window that shows up. So that, then this, and then erase 99, and then have Asora talk again, and you can change her sprite if you want, or whoever is talking sprite. So for this I'll just do shocked, and then you have your scene. It gets a lot easier once you do it multiple times. Haha, you cute, and then Sachiko, that's weird, and then Asora, and then the inner thoughts right here. Again, the outline is it's supposed to be blue. Oh, I'm so dumb. But anyway, it's supposed to be blue. I made it white on accident, but yeah. And then she's like, what's that? And then, the game, obviously, I accidentally made it so that the picture stays up on screen. For that, normally you would just erase number 5, which is what the sprite is. So erase picture 5, and then the scene ends. So that's pretty much the basics of dialogue. Let me see if there's anything else I need to mention. Sound effects are just regular sound effects. So like for her shocked sound effects, you do play sound effect, and then it's I kind of lower it because it's loud. Talk, that one, and then it'll play during the dialogue. She's like, what the heck? And then another thing you can do is also flash screen, which and then unclick wait for completion, because otherwise it'll wait to flash and then do it. It won't happen at the exact same time. So now you can see the changes we made. Blah blah. just talking, and then a Sora is here, and then the background will flash like it does in game. So that's pretty much it for the basics of dialogue. Now for fully voiced scenes, each of the scene, I'm kind of showing like part of the chapter 1, but you'll see. So each of the lines have to be separately saved, which is annoying, but there's no other way around it. So like I can't fix that. That's just part of the program. But they're put as sound effects, and then the sound effect plays, which is just the voice line, and then in order to stop the voice line from continuing playing when you click the next dialogue, you do stop sound effect after that text. I hope this is making sense to you guys. Here's kind of a workflow of how this works. So, here you go. This is Sachiko thinking, her inner thoughts, and then this is Akira talking for 3 lines, and then the camera moves, which is another thing, part of MV3D, but you can also do it with the camera command in some random dude's script, whenever the next person's talking, and it will zoom over to them, and then it's like, what, blah, 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 he's talking, and then Denji's talking, and, they're always, I just keep them at 5, you can change them to whatever. Now, for simpler things, like the overlay of the, UI, basically, I have all the OST, not all of them yet, but most of the OSTs written out already in common events. This is what the common event looks like. It's just the picture of the OST in the corner, and then it plays the OST. And I'll put this on parallel process, or you can put it on a switch or whatever. And then 98, I'll put the chapter 1 little thing right here. And then you can also make it move in, so X, I believe, would be like 100 or something. It might be negative 100, I'll have to check. But since it's on a different layer, it won't affect any of the layers. So, okay. So, put it on 100 or whatever. I'll put it at 500. And then you can wait until you load in, which is 60 frames or whatever. And then move picture number 98. Don't wait for completion for 1 second to 0, 0. And then that will make the chapter icon slide in if you'll look. So yeah, it's actually it's got on a loop right now. The reason, here, I'll fix that. All you have to do is just make a new event page and then do self switch, and then do control self switch A, and then this self switch A. There you go. Which is another, basic RPG Maker thing. And then as you can see, it slides in. Probably would have gone better if it was a little bit faster. And now the music's playing and the UI is here. And then even if you, go to save, which I'll show the plugin for this too. But if you go to save and then reload, it'll still be there. So, yeah. For that plugin, I use another Yanfly one, Save Core, and then I believe as well as the menu. For the menu, I use multiple. The menu is one of those really hard ones to kind of talk about. This is already kind of becoming a long video, so I'm going to do that in another video, and I'll show you the menu. I'll also show the non-stop debate stuff. But yeah, this is just the beginning. It's almost 1 a.m. and my throat's dying, so I'm gonna go. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!